Hi everybody, I'm Ellen Gormley. Welcome back to my channel. I am very excited to teach you this color work technique. This is Intarsia crochet. This is the introduction to Intarsia crochet. So I'm using single crochet, although you can use other stitches as well. And the point of Intarsia crochet is that you're using multiple colors per row, which means you don't want to carry all of the unused colors across the top as you would in tapestry crochet, which is generally just two colors. Tapestry crochet, you know, you lay the unused color over the top and work over it. Well, if you have too many things carried over the top, it gets bulky and the colors show through. So tapestry crochet is generally two colors and you work over the one you're not using. Intarsia is multiple colors, and usually you dangle the yarns you're not using off the back, and often you separate them into smaller portions or balls or bobbins, or sometimes you can use the whole skein, but then you just have to make sure they don't get tangled. So I have these little balls of color that are lined up neatly with when I'm using them. The pink is used twice, so I have two balls. And I wanted to show you that that is how I made this Block M Michigan blanket for my husband. So I made this in 2004. There's still baby toys in the background. But in this blanket, I took the dark blue, and then I had a ball of yellow that started here, and I worked the yellow. Then I had a ball of blue that I worked here, and then another ball of yellow, and then a ball of blue. And then when you turn the row, you would do blue, drop it, pick up the yellow, drop it, pick up the blue, drop it. Okay, so you get my meaning here. So if you were to graph out any of your favorite logos, you can make this kind of graph yourself, all using this Intarsia technique. This little item today is inspired by a poster. This is just a portion of the poster. I just did a color copy of it so that I could get a better close-up look at it, that I have for my daughter. This is Seoul, Korea. And this inspired me to do the Intarsia, like almost a little landscape. So if you imagine the vertical pieces here are buildings, and then I just kind of went off-road and started playing with it. Okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Fair Isle crochet is when you have two colors and maybe they're far apart and maybe you don't work over them, but you like float them in the back. So the back side, you see like the unused yarn carried across. But in Intarsia and Mosaic, you guys love Mosaic crochet. Mosaic crochet is just one color at a time, but every so often you drop down a row and place a long stitch lower so that it looks like you're using more than one color at a time. But generally it's just one color at a time. Got it? So that's a long introduction. I'm very sorry, but here we go. So this, I have these little balls of yarn, and you can use a hair clip to hold it tight so it doesn't unravel. I have a couple of those here. You can also put a rubber band around it, or you can just leave them and hope for the best. They will get tangled up, especially when I work and then turn. You have to be careful then to turn back the original direction so that you're not getting them twisted. So if you turn and then turn, do you see what's going to happen here? So when we turn our work, we're careful to make sure that we don't get them tangled up. All right, what I did here was I started with single crochet in just the pink, the first color I wanted to do as my base. And I just single crocheted a bunch. And then maybe I should show you from the very beginning. This is the wrong side. It still looks pretty darn good, but I'm careful to hold all my tails on the wrong side so that this is the more presentable right side. I'm going to start with a single crochet. You can do single crochet foundation if you want, if you don't want to count stitches. And there's a video for how to do the single crochet foundation if you just want to get a bunch done in a hurry without doing the whole chain and then going back with single crochet. So let me just do a single crochet foundation for a while, and then I will turn and we will get the magic started. I do like Intarsia crochet a lot, but it's a lot of work, as you can imagine, and it does make a fabric that's very colorful and beautiful, a very artistic piece. So you can do it in garments, of course, especially like the panel of a vest or the back of a sweater or the detail on a pocket. Work the first couple stitches in the blue, just like I did on the side of the blue M over here. And then I would change color when it's time to pull through the stitch. So I'm single crocheting, and when it's time to pull yarn over and pull through, I'm going to pull through with the new color, holding the yellow behind. And I would then finish the stitch, and now the yellow is ready for my next stitch. Now I would not carry the blue anymore because it needs to still be here when I come back to it on the next row. So I will single crochet. I'm crocheting only over the yellow tail just to anchor it a bit. And then I can add in a new color anytime I want by starting the stitch and then grabbing another yarn. And you can always grab the same color. So in this case, then I grabbed blue again. But you can grab any color. You can grab any color multiple times. I'll drop the yellow. Make sure it stays the correct tension. I'll leave it dropped so that it will still be there when I come back for it. And then I can do the purple until I am done with the purple. And I can add color or change color at any time. So I will go and I'll finish purple at the end of the row, and then I will chain one and turn and work back. Now this is the back side of the work, and when I want to do yellow again, I will get over to the point where I want to do yellow. I will finish with purple by starting the stitch, dropping this to the front because I want to keep all my tails on the same side. I'm going to pick up the yellow, yarn over and pull through with the yellow, make sure my tension is correct, and then make sure I don't skip any stitches, and then work with the yellow until I have decided I'm done with it. And I'm going to do one more stitch of the yellow. Then I'm going to pull it to the front because I want all my tails on this side, and I'm going to be careful not to tangle up my colors. Grab the blue, finish the stitch with the blue, and single crochet with the blue. Now, if I wanted to add purple over on this side, I would start a new ball of purple. I would maybe give myself several yards of the purple, ball it up, bind it with a clip or something, and then start a new ball of purple. You want a new ball for every occurrence that the color is going to have in the row, because you really don't want to be carrying over at all. Now, if I want to make the yellow start sooner this time, actually, no, let's make the blue go further. We're going to encroach on the yellow by one stitch of blue. So I'll insert the hook and leave it there, and I will drop the blue and pick up the yellow and pull through with the yellow. And maybe I want the yellow section to be narrower. I'm dropping the blue there, letting it hang, not working over it. And I want to stop the yellow short. Then I'll go ahead and drop the yellow and pick up the purple and work the remaining stitches with the purple. So you can see that this is a very agile method of using yarn. Did I work over that? I did. I picked it up. I picked up the blue on accident. I just captured it. And so I don't want to capture it. It needs to hang down in the right spot so that it'll be there when I come back. I don't want it hanging out over here. Okay, so I'm pulling up the purple. So the biggest problem with Intarsia, which is not really a problem, it's just a matter of your yarn tangling. And so you want to make sure that that does not happen. So when you work in the smaller balls, it's easier to like pick them up and move them and get them all good to go. And when they're in big skeins, then you need lots of big skeins. So, but this is like the method of adding color, usually in vertical patterns or floating. Okay, so let me show you floating. So what has happened here is I have decided that when I get to the green this time, I am going to add another color. So I am going to, maybe I want a floating 2 stitches of some lavender. I'm going to add a floating lavender piece in the middle of the green. So I'm going to follow my sequence that I've established. There's not a pattern for this. I'm totally making it up as I go along. As I was playing with this the other day, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet over until I get to the lime green. And I'm not sure that's the exact color. I can put the color names in the description below. These are all Brava yarns, and I used some paint box on the earlier swatch. And then the next color until I decide. Let's see, I'm going to pull up with the green. Okay, make sure not to work over it because we want to use it again. I realize the greens are in the wrong order, so I'll move them over so that they're in the right order. I might have to unclip, give myself a little bit more yardage, then reclip to hold it so that it doesn't all come undone on me. Easy, or whatever you need. I'm going to work just a few stitches, but I want to add in the purple so that it's floating in the middle of the green. So I'm going to find my end of purple and make just 1 stitch, I think, of the purple. Now in this case, I would float the green just the 1 stitch if I'm just making 1 stitch and not give it a separate ball because it's just 1 stitch. And then I can do working over just the tail of the purple so that it anchors, but the working color is still hanging on the back. So all the colors are hanging on the back in the order that they are used. And now it is time to pick up the gray and work. Make sure my tension is good. Don't work over the green now. Let it hang until I'm ready for the watermelon-ish pinky color. Pick up the watermelon-ish pinky color. So it's all single crochet in this particular example. We can do other stitches, but I wanted to give you the easiest tutorial in this introduction to Intarsia crochet. Okay, let's get to the end of the row. So now I have a floating purple spot in the middle of my green, and I can leave it there and grow it up and grow it any shape I want, or I can just make it a dot and work green all the way across. It's totally up to you. If I was following my inspiration photo, I could do that dot for like the windows. You know, I could make the green or the purple dot turn into this line on this building, you know, so that gives you a little bit of idea of how the visual representation would happen. So now when I turn and work back, I'm continuing with this aqua greenish color until I get to the watermelon. And this time I'm going to drop the green on this side of the fabric because I want to keep all my tails on the same side. Then I'll pick up the green, pick up the watermelon, finish that stitch, work in the next stitch. Make sure you don't skip any because then you'll have holes, unless of course you want holes, which would be kind of cool. Pull it to the front, pick up the next one, do as many stitches as you want. And now I will pull the gray to the front, pick up the green. There's the tail from the purple. So what do you think? Should I just work all the way across and pretend the purple's not there, or should I make a vertical column of purple? If I make a vertical column of purple, I'll just finish the 1 stitch with it. Before I complete the next stitch, I'll go back to the green. So now I'm working on a vertical panel or a vertical column of purple in the middle of my field of grass green. So I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to Intarsia crochet. Let me show you how I turn though. I want to make sure and turn whatever way you normally turn. It doesn't really matter, but with Intarsia crochet, it does matter because I want to go back the way I came so that my yarns do not get tangled. So try and keep them as nice and straight as possible. It will really save you in the long run. So I have lots of color work videos for you, friends. I have Tunisian interlock, the video on lots of different color work types that I quickly described for you, and crochet mosaic in 3 colors. So there's a crochet mosaic playlist, and I will see you on the next video.